Okay, let's take a look at problem number 8. This is WAMAP Unit 3, Math 55, and we are using fractions with x. We're solving for x, and so fractions make it add one more level of complexity. But we're going to follow all the same rules. We will combine like terms and isolate x, and then we will try to give our answer in a positive x form, positive 1x, positive x. So we have to get rid of those fractions to do that. So we have negative 2/7 x is equal to negative 7/4 x plus 5/28. So no one can see the answer from here or even guess what it might be. But we're just going to follow the rules and see. We know how to get all the x's onto one side and combine like terms. So let's go ahead and try that. I'm going to add 7/4 x to both sides, right? And so we have negative 7/4 x and positive 7/4 x, and they cancel each other out. And over here we have negative 2/7 x and positive 7/4 x. So effectively we are saying 7/4 x minus 2/7 x. And in order to subtract these, we need to get the same denominator. And whenever you add or subtract in math, you need to have the units be the same. You have to have something in common. And so in the case of fractions, you can only add or subtract fractions if they have the same denominator. And with decimals, you can only add or subtract decimals if they are lined up in the same column. All the tens columns, the ones columns, tenths, hundredths, thousandths columns, they all have to be lined up, or you can't add them. So it's everywhere in math. So we're going to, we've got 4 and 7, 28 would be a good number as denominator. So 7/4 is equal to x over 28. That's one way to do it. And then we've got 2/7 is equal to x over 28, right? The other way is we can multiply the top here and the bottom by 7. 7/7 is 1, so we're basically just converting this fraction. And this one, 4 times 7 is 28. We'll multiply the top by 4 as well. And so we can go, this would be 49/28 minus, that's 49/28x minus 8/28x. So now we have 49 minus 8. That should be 41. 41/28x. And that's going to be equal to 5/28. All right. So whatever this is, it's kind of a logistical nightmare. And you can't see the answer. So this is like the top of abstract thinking. Like we don't know what the answer might be even now. We're practically all the way to the answer. So we're just going to keep moving forward, following our rules. And what we want to do next, we have 41/28x. We want to make that 1x, right? So does anyone remember how we do that when we're working with a fraction? If we were to multiply this fraction by its inverse, and we have to multiply both sides, 28/41, we multiply both sides by that. These two will cancel out, and these two will cancel out, leaving 1/1. 1/1 times x. That's equal to 1x, which we normally just write x. And that's going to be equal to this fraction times the same number, right? Because they were equal before. They'll still be equal if we multiply them by the same thing. So 5 times 28, that's 140. And there is a shortcut for multiplying by 5. Take half of the number and add a 0. So take half of 28, that's 14. Add a 0, 140. And there's no shortcut I know of for multiplying 41 by 28, so we'll just do it this way. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 4 is 32. Add a 0, or put a 0 in the ones column. 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 times 4 is 8, and then add 8, 4, and 11. So that's 1148. So x is equal to 140 over 1,148. So, before I circle that, stop. I just noticed they're both even numbers. So we can reduce those, right? We can reduce them by taking out a 2, at least. And do you guys remember your divisibility rules? 40. I think this number, they're both divisible by 4. So divisibility rule for 4, if the last 2 digits are divisible by 4 evenly, then the whole number is. So let's take out a 4. We'll save one step that way. And we'll impress our friends with how good our math is. So 4 goes into 125 times. 4 goes into 40 10 times. So I think that makes 35. Or you can do it this way. 4 goes into 140. 4 goes into 14 3 times. That's 12. 24 goes into 20 5 times. All right, and then the bottom, 1148 divided by 4. 4 goes into 11 twice, leaving 3. And then 4 goes into 34 8 times, leaving 2. 4 goes into 28 7 times. So you can try it that way, or if you need, you can just divide 4 into 1148. 4 goes into 11 twice, 8. 34. 4 goes into 34 8 times. It's 32, and then 28 left. And 4 goes into 28 7 times. And 0 remainder. Okay. So, now 35 and 287. These might both be divisible by 7. Does anyone see it? So 28 is divisible by 7, right? 4 times. Oops. And then 7 is also divisible by 7. 35 is divisible by 7. So that means they both would have been, we could have reduced them both by 28. So let's try red. So we're going to divide by 7. And keep reducing this fraction. So 35 divided by 7 is 5. X is equal to 5 over, and then 287 divided by 7 is 41. 5 over 41. And if you want to see that, 287 divided by 7, 7 goes into 28 4 times. That's 28. 0 and 7. 7 goes into 7 one time. So this is our answer. This first one that I circled by mistake, right here, this is the same value, but it's the wrong format. So depending on your teacher, it could be right or wrong. Fractions should always be reduced, so please reduce it as far as you can, and try to use the divisibility rules to know if a number can be divided by another number. All right, let me know if you get stuck, and I'm here to help. And we've got links that you can use to help practice. So give those a try.